Welcome to Matters of Decorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. I keep asking you guys to leave me a comment for things you'd like to hear me talk about below. And last week someone did. Cameron Grinstead, hello Cameron, sent me the following comment. Hey Scott, how would I join a D&D group? I'm new to this. Any suggestions? I'm a solo player and been wanting to play for years. Good question, Cameron, and thank you for your comment. I am years out of date in having to start a group from scratch. And I've never, once I had to start a group from scratch. And my solution probably is less viable today than it was back when I did that. Let me explain a little bit, some history. Or in other words, there isn't a short answer to this because I'm woefully out of touch with that portion of gaming society, as it turns out. I started gaming. Now, I was a solo gamer for years, Traveler, had D&D. I had some of the books. I never did anything with them until I got to high school, and there was someone else there who was interested. And the guy who sat next to me in my homeroom, alphabetically, our names were next to each other, and that worked out very well. And he met some guys in some of his classes, and I met some in mine, and we put a group together in my basement and playing D&D. It was fun. Did some other things every so often. Group varied in size, but it was a good group. And not all of whom are still with us, but I still keep Facebook in touch with some of the folks. And when I got to college, junior college, there was a gaming club at the college, the Knights of Ithilien, at St. Louis Community College at Merrimack. And I showed up to the first meeting when I could, and they had a game of chill going on, and they were dedicated to helping other people get in the hobby. Sat me down, made me a character, gave me a soda, and we were off and running. And that was amazing for years. Through members of that group, I found out there was a gaming store opening blocks from the college. And when I showed up there to look around, they had ads for people starting up games. The owner of the shop was starting a game. I was wondering if I was trying to get people involved in playing, so there'd be some live play in the shop. And so I sat in on some of those, and those were just amazing games. The Comic Castle, no longer there, sadly. I kind of found gaming groups, or gaming groups found me. I did go out looking for the RPG club at my college, and that did help. I moved from St. Louis to California at the end of 1989. 1990, I'm looking for a gaming group. I'm in Los Angeles. And there is a convention that happens every so often. I hadn't gotten that far yet. I was still not terribly socially adept, but there was a gaming store in Santa Monica, and of course I was going to find the gaming store. They had a cork board for people to put up notices. I put up a notice. I bit the bullet. I'm looking to put a group together. Call this number. Put it up on the cork board. I don't know if you'd even think of doing that these days. But 4 or 5 people responded, and oh God, we got together. The group worked more or less, and a couple of those people invited other folks to join in, and again, some of those folks aren't with us anymore, but I'm still in touch with some of those folks. Their kids know my kid. It that has formed lasting friendships, and we don't game together anymore because they've moved other places and time and circumstance. one thing led to another. When my wife and I started managing our apartment complex in Culver City, there was a one of our new tenants was a gamer and was kind of gregarious and was wondering if any other people in the area were involved. I let him know that I was involved, and that gaming group took off. I was over there 2 nights a week. My wife got very upset with me, especially after the pepperoni and garlic pizzas. Yeah, we added garlic 3 times because garlic is amazing, but oh my God, my wife did not want to spend time with me after that. I started going to conventions, the Strategicon conventions out here by LAX. They had a role playing department where you show up and there's just 4 hour sessions, 3 of them a day over a 3 day weekend, 4 if you started on Friday. And I not only played some of those games, I ran games there. I signed up to volunteer as a game master. I ended up running that apartment for a little while with my friend Mandy. And through that activity, I accumulated people I game with today. People I'll probably be people I game with last night. People I'm going to be game with tomorrow night. So today, the most recent gaming group I got involved in. There is a friendly local gaming store at my local mall. This is obviously happened a couple of years ago, pre-COVID. And the owner, amazing person, just across the board, had managed to have enough floor space, super dedicated about having product on the floor space and good display and just amazing at the retail experience. This is the Game Chest at Del Amo Fashion Center. If you are local, you absolutely have to go. More so when restrictions lift. Because it is a game and toy store and it is a geek's delight. And the owner has made sure that there is floor space for gaming. And it has, again, fallen off over the past year. But they have taken every opportunity they could to do safe gaming with social distancing in an outdoor location that they've opened up specifically for the case. And when restrictions lift again, intend to be back in the store doing things. That group has continued to meet online. I have fallen out of that for a bit. I'm hoping to get back into with that group. If anyone from the Naughty crew is listening, I intend to get back to that game. I'll probably be tagging in at the Discord a little bit later. We kept that game going in Discord. And that group going in Discord for a while. I ran for years, and some other folks have stepped up to run games, both while I was there and in my absence. So I'm looking forward to reconnecting with that group. And then I was in the store randomly one evening, and the manager, the owner, asked me if I would, jump in. This person's trying to put a game together over there, and I sat in on that game. And that group turned into the Layer Action, the folks I do podcasts with. So some of it is networking. Some of it is being where the games happen and making yourself available for a game experience when it is. If there is a game store in your area that has gaming tables, they might have a schedule, or you might be able to ask him if a game could possibly happen there. Every gaming group I have been a part of has been composed of friends. Either friends that I already knew and I knew were interested in gaming, or people who I met at that table, but whom I would gladly go an extra mile to see with a smile on my face. Because this hobby, this activity we engage in, is a social one, and it is one of my favorite ways to really get to know someone. Yeah, you'll want to know how someone thinks. Well, in a 10-foot by 10-foot room, some trapdoors, and a bamboo pole, and see how they work their way out of the puzzle, and you start to get an idea. And that is not all of my gaming groups. Some of my gaming groups morph into others. Hey, we're going to get together over here. Hey, we used to, one person from one group will invite you over to another one, and that one breaks up a little bit, but something happens over there, and you end up bouncing around a little bit like a ping pong ball if you're open to going to all of these games. Sometimes you got to drive. Sometimes there's travel involved. Today, in the era of the pandemic, in these times where this is how I am interacting with people on a day-to-day basis, and this is keeping me sane, you may have better experience looking for something online. This is where I get fuzzy. This is where my personal experience may not be as big of a help to you, because, again, once you start this process, once you start working in one or two social groups where games tend to happen, they will avalanche. Your opportunities may very well just grow to the point where you're going to pick and choose what games you are and aren't involved in if you want to keep any of your personal time. Something I am notoriously bad at. My wife and I have had some conversations about how much time I can devote to games, which is why I made it my career, so there. It's my job now. The online gaming community has blown the hell up over the past year when this medium of doing the games online has been the only real option for many, many people. I do games on Discord weekly, sometimes more than once a week. Whether it is just a voice chat, I've done games entirely in text with a voice chat on the side because not everybody was comfortable with a voice chat. Video conferencing games. I've recorded some video conferencing games again for the layer action. It's going to be content for the future. And all of that, and that's just Discord, and occasionally throwing in some OBS, using occasional filters and or a green screen replacement. I'm hoping to get a green screen worked out in here to give me a more interesting background. Let me know what you think about that idea. But that's just if you have a communication medium, if you've got Discord or Zoom or Skype or whatever, you have the capacity to do a game online. That's going to be your theater of the mind stuff. You're a very creative game master. I'm sure they can find some way to give you some visual representations of stuff. And D&D podcasts and D&D plays on YouTube and stuff, there's Critical Role, shows like that, which I haven't watched, but I keep saying I have to, and I do, have made it more popular to do this stuff and given people more venues. And then there are new technologies and for engaging in playing role-playing games online. If you have not visited the site yet, I invite you to hit up Roll20, which is a social site and a visual environment for people to game with each other, where you have access to a map and players have access to certain aspects of it, and the dungeon master can lay out things and give people what their situation is. You want to go into a more tactical and visual experience. Programs like Fantasy Grounds um, give you similar functionality. I recently purchased the beta of a program called Game Master Engine, which I'm still digging into. I'm still learning this technology, still looking at all the possibilities of these things. I just a Kickstarter I just jumped into, Dungeon Alchemist, I believe it was, totally overfunded because again, this is the time for these things to happen. Which is it does AI assisted dungeon generation for situations like this. Those if you search for LFG, looking for a group, those areas of websites like Roll20 might give you an idea of where you can go, who you might hook up with. Those sites do a certain amount of matchmaking as far as putting together a group. And social media, you can find Facebook groups for putting together online games, or Reddit subreddits for role playing, and find places from there. These days, you only really have to start looking and have a fairly good idea in your mind of what kind of game you want to get involved in. Open to anything is open to anything, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like to play some D&D. That's awesome. It's super popular right now. But yeah, you can find so many different amazing things being out there. I got an invitation. I don't know if I'll be able to accept it, but I felt really good to get it, to jump into a second edition Mongoose Traveler game. I could pull down one of my obscure games up here and throw it out there that I would like to run this on Discord, and probably get some hits from people who'd be interested in playing that game. You've got options. And I wish I could give you something more concrete than that as far as a how to find a game answer. But I wish there was a single source I could send you to. And that source might exist, but I have no idea what it is. So in person, find a local gaming store, or hit up some of the people that you regularly socialize with and ask them if they'd be interested in getting together for some Dungeons and Dragons. It doesn't have the onus that it did when I started this in the 80s. So that can actually be functional these days. Or look online, find a good source for role-playing information material. D&D Beyond, although I'm not fond of how they sell you the books all over again, but I understand the process. Roll20, a search for online Dungeons and Dragons games can certainly give you more resources than you can shake a stick at. And hopefully that gets you going on. I would like to hear if you find something, because now I'm invested. I would like to know what you managed to find out there. And if you find any good resources, hit me up with another comment and let me know what you find so I can pass that on to other people. I want to touch on one other thing. Not every game you find is going to be a good game. A lot of people are starting out. A lot of people have very set styles that they want to run a game in, or groups have a style of play, and it might not be your thing, which is fine. Groups are groups. Every different group is a different individual, and when people move in and out of those groups, the dynamics change completely. You only need one person to come in or leave for a group to be an entirely different group. And how a group plays games changes based on that dynamic. By entering a group, you alter a dynamic, and alter it as you learn more about how to play and get involved with that group. But not every game is going to be a good game. Some dungeon masters are going to have a style of play that does not suit you exactly. You'll find yourself frustrated and upset more often than you'll find any enjoyment. Or the players either don't take the game seriously enough or take the game too seriously. And don't be afraid to analyze your gaming experience. If it didn't turn into something that you enjoyed, ask yourself why. Is it the game? Maybe I'm not really a role player, which I doubt because it's one of the most universally beautiful things I have encountered in this life. Maybe it's the group dynamic, maybe it's how it's being run, and you can leave a group. You do not have to leave your friends behind, but you can leave a game behind. It's like, you know what? You guys enjoy this. It's not quite my style. I'm going to step out and I'm going to do something else, and I'll talk to you guys later. Or if it's a group you've just met, thank you guys for the opportunity. I really appreciate the time that you've given me. It's not really my cup of tea. I appreciate it, but I hope you guys have a good time. And look for another one. One of the benefits of doing the gaming at the conventions. I ran because certain benefits given to volunteer game masters were dependent upon how many hours you ran. And every game was a 4-hour commitment. I'd run 5 or 6 games over a weekend, 24 hours out of 72, just sitting at tables rolling dice. Every 4 hours, it's another 6 people at the table, sitting around, rolling dice, picking up these characters, maybe for the first time, often for the first time, maybe not having played the game before, a different group. Some of them might know each other, it might be 6 entire strangers, a different group over and over and over again, and I really got to know what I liked by repetition and experimentation, and that it was a great experience for building up a lot of different skills and preferences. I know what I like at my table as a player and as a game master. And the only way to know that, you can watch 100 Let's Play videos of D&D or other games being played on YouTube, and you probably should. If you find a good one, again, let me know what it is, because I'm looking for resources like this. But until you sit down, until you pick up some dice and lay them down on the table and react to how those numbers tell you whether your character succeeded or failed, until you've talked with those people, hopefully laughed with those people, until you have walked a few imaginary miles in several pairs of imaginary elven boots, you don't know. You don't know what you like. You don't know how this is going to go or what the options even are. But one of your options, always, is to leave, is to walk out. A game that does not bring you joy is one that you can leave. Sometimes that's awkward. Sometimes you're worried of, well, if I leave, people are going to get upset because we're all friends. We're going to barbecue next week, and if I'm not at the D&D game, maybe it's. But if you're not happy with it, people who are your friends will understand. In general, and if it is not giving you what you need out of that game, leaving is a commentary to the group. Well, maybe the game could, if everyone else is fine with it, it's like, well, that is that person, and okay. But that gives someone else the opening to say, there is a point there that was being made. Maybe we could do something a little bit differently. But always reserve your right to stop playing. There is a certain amount of commitment involved in getting in a game, but that is not more important than you being happy. It's not a job. It's a hobby. It's a pastime. It is a game. It is being played for enjoyment primarily. And when it stops being something you enjoy, you can stop, and should. That being said, Cameron, again, thank you for your comment, and I wish you luck in finding something. Again, if you find a good resource or two in your search for your game, drop me a comment. I would be fascinated to find out what you find. To everyone that I game with, to everyone I have gamed with, thank you for all the time. Thank you for the time at your table. Thank you for spending your time at mine. Thank you for all of the laughter and all of the joy and all of the fascinating, endless stories that we came up with together. I am looking forward to there being many more. I guess that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. I do really rely on comments for content sometimes, and I enjoy engaging with folks who are watching. So if there's anything questions you have or things you'd like to hear me talk about, if you have found resources for finding online games or games locally to you, if you've got a program that you really like, if there's software that has helped your games, leave me a comment below. Questions you'd like to hear me answer, subjects you'd like to hear me cover, leave me a comment below. I will love getting your comment. You will love leaving me one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? My channel is awesome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you do, make sure you hit the notification bell so you're alerted when my videos become available. If you would like to help support the channel in a more substantial manner, I invite you to hit me at my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps. Allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I am Scott Corum. This is what has mattered to me, and I will see you next time with the next Matters of DeCorum.